presentation and survey opportunity. Links to the survey will be posted in the chat, and this presentation will be made available following the event. Next slide, please. Throughout tonight's presentation, you can send questions directly to the Department of Arts and Culture by clicking on the bottom of your screen at the chat icon. To submit questions, use the chat and make sure to scroll down to everyone so that we can see your question and respond. We will do our best to answer your questions before the end of this meeting. If we do not address your questions during this time, we will follow up afterwards. The chat in this meeting will be part of public record and open to everyone. We ask that you use the Essay Speak Up guiding principles for conversation that are meaningful, transparent, respectful, and inclusive, and that you refrain from using profanity. Next slide, please. During this presentation, we will look at the public art process, a project overview, we will provide some examples, a timeline, and finally, at the end, we will ask for the input portion where we will have a discussion and you can ask any questions. Next slide, please. For those of you who do not know what public art is, public art managed by the City of San Antonio is art in a public place that has been through an engagement process to determine three things: where the art will be placed, who the artist will be, and what the themes and inspirations will be for the art. It is approved by the San Antonio Arts Commission and Public Art Committee, two groups comprised of community representatives that have been appointed by City Council to represent their district or by the mayor. It is managed by a public art project manager such as myself and usually paid with by public funds. These funds come from 1% allocated to the Transportation and Capital Improvement Funds and are then used to implement public art projects according to our public art plan. We are currently developing public art projects for the 2017-2022 bond program. Next slide, please. Every public art project our department manages goes through an extensive process where we check in with the community and different stakeholders, as well as our San Antonio Arts Commission and Public Art Committee. Currently, we are at the community engagement process to select the artwork theme as identified by the yellow star. Next slide, please. At the end of this presentation, we will have a discussion portion. These are some of the questions that we would like you to consider throughout the presentation. These questions will be shown again at the end, and you do not have to wait until the end to ask your question, but we do ask that you note which number of questions you are responding to. And the questions that we are interested in today are: how do you personally connect with artwork in your daily life? What story would you like this artwork to tell? What community values do you think this artwork should showcase? Did any of these art samples draw you in? Is there a sample more relevant to this space? In what ways can this artwork positively impact a person seeing the facility for the first time? Have you ever seen a mural or 2D artwork that stood out to you? And how can that feeling be implemented in this space? And is there anything else that we should know? Next slide, please. To give background on this project, this is part of the 2017 bond. It is a facility that will be newly constructed to provide services which may include preschool, after-school programming, adult education, and senior daycare. Work is anticipated to begin this fall and last until fall of 2022. It is located in Council District 2, which also includes the Zernona Black and Wheatley Heights centers, all three of which are identified by the yellow stars. Next slide, please. Here we're looking at a rendering of the facility. It is our goal to commission a new two-dimensional public artwork. There is an opportunity for artwork in two locations identified by the yellow and blue brackets and stars. Area A is blue. It is 11 feet tall by 15 feet wide. Area B is a corner wall. It is 11 feet tall and 8 feet wide on one side and 11 feet tall by 10 feet on the other side, and that is identified by yellow. Both of these locations are available for artwork. This artwork should be considered as one cohesive piece and not two individual artworks. The entrance to the building is identified by the red arrow, and the lobby is the green circle. So as you can see, these two locations create a corridor interactive space surrounding the lobby. Next slide, please. Here we're looking at a rendering of the facility. It is our goal to commission and install new two-dimensional public art. We are interested in getting feedback on the themes this artwork could showcase. Possible options include services offered at the center and the people that use them, landmarks of San Antonio's East Side, community traditions, celebrations, and events of District 2, and other. Is there something else that we are missing that you think should be featured here? Next slide, please. So now we're going to look at the schedule for this project. The community engagement survey opened in June and it will last through September of 2021. We're having the engagement meeting today in August, and the City of San Antonio's Public Works Department will begin construction in fall of this year. The design for the artwork will be completed in spring of 2022, and fabrication will begin in summer of 2022. The City of San Antonio's Public Works Department will complete construction in December of 2022, and the artwork will be installed and dedicated in that same time frame. Next slide, please. Now we're going to move into some samples of types of artwork that this location could have. The first samples that we're looking at are murals. Murals can be painted directly onto the wall surface or painted or printed onto a vinyl or polytab. When they are done on vinyl or polytab, the piece can be created into a studio and then adhered directly to the wall, rather than being painted directly onto the wall. So the first example that we're seeing on the left is by local artist Kelly O'Connor, and it is vinyl and placed inside the convention center. And the example on the right is by local artist Joy Farso, and it was painted directly onto the underpass under Fulton Avenue. So we're seeing an interior mural and an exterior mural. And please remember that the murals for this project are going to be interior. I also want to let you know that all of the examples that I will be showing tonight are part of our City of San Antonio's public art collection. Next slide, please. Here we can see examples of how photography can be used. These examples show local artists Chuck Ramirez on the top left at the airport, Anson Seal at the bottom left at the Convention Center, and Angel Rodriguez Diaz at the Cliff Morton Business and Development Center. These examples show how photography-based works can be a series of medium-sized backlit works, one large-scale piece that's not backlit, or many small backlit pieces. The formatting and series and size of photography can vary and be created in multiple different ways. I also want to point out that in these examples, they're different than what people typically think of photography as being of one or more figures as a portraiture, but there is a wide variety that photography can be. And here you can see in some of the examples, including the cityscape, an abstract piece, and the suitcases. Next slide, please. Here we're looking at collage samples. Local artist Henry Rayburn created the smaller piece, and Henry Stein created the building facade at the Henry Guerra Library. With collage, mixed media can be used, or a single medium can be used to give an impression of various materials being combined into one object. Materials can include found objects or handmade objects, and they can be arranged in different ways similar to a puzzle. Next slide. Our final example is mosaic or tiles. First, we have local artist Rolando Brezeño, who used terrazzo tile to create an intricate design on the airport terminal floor, and Houston artist Dixie Friend Gay's mosaic at the Northeast Senior Center. Here you can see that mosaic and tiles can be arranged from abstracted patterning to intricate and detailed design work. Next slide. We will now give some time for the discussion and opportunity for questions and input. We will leave this on the screen for the next 2 minutes to allow people to type their questions. If you're on the phone calling in, you will hear a period of silence while we wait for input to come in. So I'll leave these questions on the screen and we will wait for people to put in their input, and I will begin answering questions as they come in. Okay, well, I think that has been about 2 minutes, and I'm not seeing any questions. So we can go ahead and move on to the next slide, please. So the links to the survey are provided to you in the chat. And in addition to this meeting, we do hope that you take our online survey. It can be found at the following link. The survey did open on June 6th, and it's going to close on September 3rd. You can also email me directly at jordan.patrias@sanantonio.gov. Please note that the window to provide feedback will close on September 3rd, and I will post a report on September 10th. Can we go back to the previous slide, please? The question slide. We will give this a little bit more time just in case people need it a little bit longer. So we'll go ahead and give that about 2 more minutes, and I'll go ahead and leave it on the slide. Okay, so I am seeing a question, and that question is there a specific color palette? And that is an excellent question. Thank you for that. No, we do not have a specific color palette. We asked in the survey which tone you think the color should be, and the selections for that are graphic and bold, naturalistic and subdued, and festive or bright. So that is question number 6 in the survey. Or if you would like to answer that question in the chat right now, you're more than welcome to, but we would really appreciate if you could take the online survey as well. And thank you for that question. Okay, I see another question, and that question is, can it be a combination of photography and tile, or should it only be one type of media? Thank you for that question. That is a great question as well. So it is open to mixed media. And there is a selection on the survey for other. So if you feel that photography and tile should be included, then please do select that. And all we're looking for is that the project be cohesive and really be able to mesh well. So we wouldn't necessarily want it to be photography on one wall and tile on the other, but if it was a combination on both walls and that's what the community was interested in, then that is an option that could happen. The next question is, how are community members informed about the survey? So we reach out to the neighborhoods in the district specifically. We also make the survey public on the City of San Antonio's Government and Public Affairs GPA Essay Speak Up website, and that is broadcasted from that website. It's also published on our newsletter, and then we publish it to various stakeholders in the community that can share and facilitate as well. The next question is it possible to make the hallway entrance into something immersive or interactive? That is great feedback and something that we can definitely consider, and we would very much appreciate if you could answer that question on the survey as well. I see a comment that says the mural should be welcoming for all ages, since this entryway is to the multi-generational center, and we absolutely agree, and we will keep that feedback as well. Thank you for that comment. Can we go back a slide, please? Another slide, another one, another one, another one, and one more. So we are looking at the two different walls. So wall A is in blue with the blue line and the blue star, and that is 11 feet tall by 15 feet wide. And then area B is the corner wall that is identified by the yellow line and the yellow star, and that is 11 feet tall by 9 feet wide, and then 11 feet tall by 10 feet wide. And if we could go back to the question slide, please. Thank you. Thank you everyone for the questions and feedback and comments. I am very much appreciating this discussion. There is a question that says, can it be interactive? That is feedback that we will take into consideration, especially as the project is a corridor, and we will note that. Thank you very much. All right, I think, oh, I see a comment that says having the piece be interactive might be distracting for people coming in. We can have that information noted as well. Will the community be able to see the design before it's made? So for our process, our public art process, we do return to the community with the concept design, and so we will be able to bring that and allow you to provide feedback before the project does go into fabrication. Okay, so I am not seeing any more questions, but if you do have them, please feel free to keep typing them, but we will go ahead and move to the next slide, please. So as I mentioned, we do hope that you take the survey. The links are posted in the chat, and the video recording of this presentation will be made available. The survey is also available in Spanish, and as I mentioned, it did open on June 6th, and it's going to close on September 3rd. You are also more than welcome to provide feedback to me via email. And that will close on September 3rd as well. And I will post a final report of the community input, including the input that was made in this meeting and on the survey by September 10th. And all of the attendees to this meeting will receive a follow-up email with information, including detailed instructions. Thank you so much for attending and providing your input, and we really hope that you take our survey, and we look forward to hearing more from you, and I hope you have a wonderful evening. Thank you very much.